far
All right,
away.
6:33. Why don't we call the meeting to order? We'll start off with public input. Anybody? Anybody? All right, all good. All right, so why don't we go to?
Hi,
Oh, yay!
can you hear me?
I can, absolutely.
Great, how you guys doing?
Perfect.
Just real quick on a CPAC update, Happy New Year, everybody.
Hello, Happy New Year.
We have a few events coming up that we just wanted to let everybody know about. On Tuesday, January 20th, from 5 to 8 p.m., we're having another meet and greet at Apothecary Ales. That was really successful last year, so we're looking to do that again. On Saturday, February 7th, from 10 to noon at the library, we're doing a sort of discussion group on the shared family experience, working with special ed. Just try to have a couple different types of venues for folks to be able to participate. On Wednesday, February 11th, from 7 to 8:30, also at the library activity room, we're collaborating with the North Reading Commission on Disabilities and the Human Rights Group to do a joint book discussion on the book called Disability Visibility, which should be really interesting. And then on Tuesday, March 10th, from 6 to 7 p.m., we're doing a webinar, or it's actually a mediator from the Bureau of Special Education Appeals is doing a webinar on the use of mediation and things that parents and families can do to prepare, as that's a tool that the district likes to utilize when there are disagreements with families. And the other thing is we sent out a survey of special ed families yesterday. We sent it out on Facebook and to our distribution list. We've already had some really great response, and I just want to invite anybody listening to please fill out the completely anonymous survey. We don't even filling it out when we're not sharing specific information or specific reports with anybody, where we're just going to take the aggregate data and give some, figure out what we can do with it at CPAC to help all families. So that is it from us. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And I didn't mean to slight our friends joining online, so thank you for pushing through. Anybody else? Okay, so why don't we go to the student report, Mr. Russell?
For notable academic matters, quarter one, also semester one, ends this Friday, and then the midterm exams begin next week, beginning with A and B block. That is on January 20th, so A and B block will happen, and then the rest of the full day will happen. And then on January 21st are E and F exams. January 22nd is C and D exams, and then January 23rd is G and H exams. For notable fine arts matters, auditions for the one-act Amadeus were last week, and then callbacks for that are this week, and then rehearsals for that start next week. Notorious has any voices competition on January 23rd, and then the ICHSA, which is the International Competition of High School a cappella, is on January 25th. And then for athletic matters, the MIAA power rankings were released. Boys basketball is ranked 34th, girls basketball is ranked 3rd, girls ice hockey is ranked 30th, and then boys ice hockey is ranked 10th. And then the girls gymnastics team is 6-0 for their season so far. And then NRHS softball is having a music bingo fundraiser on January 24th. And then for other, juniors and seniors are continuing to meet with college representatives, and then the mobile polar plunge took place on December 19th. And then for my student work, I brought my coil pot that I made in ceramics, so I can pass this around. And then, yeah.
This is what I like. Something you
Yeah.
can actually touch. It's beautiful.
Don't drop it.
Ready?
Don't drop it.
I'm not gonna do it. I assume you did the polar plunge, Ben?
So I was sick that whole week, and then the one day I was there was on Friday, and then my doctor was just like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not good for you to do it.
Probably a wise move.
How many students ended up jumping?
Ooh, that's sturdy.
Like 100?
Does
Wow.
this mean the kiln is fixed, or is this?
Yes,
Okay.
finally.
That's good.
Oh, wow.
Is it a
Or we're
new
gonna
one
have
or
to
a
start coming
fixed
over your pizza oven.
I think they're both fixed.
Yeah, the whole room has been worked on. Yeah, so
Excellent.
Mr. Campagna and others have been working on that, yeah.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
So, when you're not here giving us reports, what else is interesting to you?
So I'm involved with like student council and Unified. So when I'm like not here, I do a lot of work with Unified. I'm like the Unified coordinator for student council.
That's awesome.
So I've been spending a lot of my time like with them. So like on Tuesdays we have strength and conditioning in the fitness center. Wednesdays we have bocce practice, and then Fridays we have like buddies group, and we just like play a bunch of games.
That's awesome.
And that's what I'm going to college for. So I'm very excited.
Well, now I'm gonna have to ask about that. Do you-
So I committed to Fitchburg State on Tuesday.
Congratulations.
And then,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Exciting.
And then I'm going there to major in special education with severe disabilities. So
Great.
Great.
yeah,
Wow.
You want to be a teacher?
yeah.
Nice. Amazing.
Nice. Well, yeah.
I could know it takes a special person to do all that work, and Ben's certainly been that person, so very exciting. The field needs people like you. It's wonderful. And I also told him today, he's probably the first student in quite some time that's brought something tangible to look at other than
Yeah.
passing
I
around a
know.
Chromebook, so that was pretty exciting today when he said he'd be sharing that, so thank you. Great job.
Yeah, I'd echo exactly what was said. You know, we need more people like you. Probably fewer like me. Congratulations, and if you wish to stay for the rest, you can, but we promise you're okay if you leave. All good.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, why don't we go on to any continued business? Doesn't look like we have any. So we'll go on to new business, the research study proposal.
Mr. Friedman, there's
Oh,
students
sorry.
here. Do you want to see whatever they're here for?
I was just gonna suggest if we could go out of order with the overnight proposals for the students that are present,
No way.
that'd be great.
No, you guys are gonna have to, no.
So we'll start with, this is the Model UN.
Oh, awesome.
Here you go. Let me just shrink this over.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for having us. So my name is Lisa, and we are here to talk to you guys about our annual Model UN High School Clubs attending of the Harvard Model UN Conference in Boston. So just for some background, this is a highly selective international conference, and it's an opportunity for students like us to be able to practice our public speaking, problem solving, and international collaboration skills. There are students from all over the world, and so it's really a great opportunity that we're so close in Boston, and it's such an easy place to access for us, so it's really great.
Yeah, and the conference will take place after lunch on Thursday, January 29th, and it'll go through Sunday, February 1st, and it'll be held primarily at the Prudential Center, with the sessions at the Sheraton and Marriott hotels respectively. And then students will be responsible for their own meals at the Prudential.
In addition, so the estimated cost for that is about $475. It is expensive just because we have to pay for hotel rooms and also attending the conference, but students are responsible for paying their own costs. And in addition to that, for our transportation, this is something that we're working on. As of currently, we had a plan where family volunteers would have been providing transportation to and from the conference. It was an organized carpooling, but we were just informed that that might not be an option. So we're gonna get back to you guys on that. Additionally, we will be staying at the Copley Square Hotel. Now, I'm not sure if you guys were here for our other proposals, but usually we would be staying at the Marriott. It was just, it was more convenient this year to stay at the Copley Square Hotel. So, and I guess just to wrap up, I wanted to reiterate on how valuable this is to our curriculum and our experience. I really do believe, as a candidate that's been going for 2 years, I'm on my 3rd year. It's really valuable. I've met so many people from all over the world. I've gotten to better my public speaking skills and my international problem solving skills. Overall, it's a great experience, and we'd really appreciate your support on this.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
So have you guys been assigned a country yet?
Yes.
And?
I'm Bulgaria.
And I'm representing Cameroon.
Cameron. Nice.
And what were you last year?
I was South Sudan.
I was either South Sudan or Vanuatu. I forget.
So do we get two different, isn't the whole, you're all not the same country, you're all?
So for general committees, like the bigger ones, it's usually the same countries, and then specialized bodies are different countries, like the EU.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of my favorite events that you guys do, so I think it's great. You guys are both great public speakers, and I think it's great that it's here, and yeah, whatever the cost is, our motion can, you don't have to come back to us to get approval, we'll approve it either way.
No, this is fantastic. How many people are we bringing to the UN?
So this year, Harvard put a cap on 20, so unfortunately we were only able to bring 20 people. But last year, I mean, we brought 31. So hopefully
Wow.
there won't be a cap next year. We'll see how everything turns out, because things have honestly been a little bit chaotic this year compared to all of the other years. But yes, this year we have 20 delegates.
How many, so if we're bringing 20, roughly how many are in the whole conference? Is it like 500, 1,000?
There's over 1,000. There's like thousands.
Wow.
It's growing every single year, which is why we think there might be a cap this year. We're hoping it's not going to continue, because we have a lot of eager people that also want to go. We don't want to be this selective, because we want to give people
Sure.
more chances. But we are actually working on expanding to more conferences that are more local, such as Lowell, that are just day trips that don't require overnight stay.
Nice.
So how are you choosing the 20?
So it's we host a lot of debates in school. We track participation in our overall logistics meetings, where we just kind of go over all of the things that you have to know to be part of the conference. Because there's only 20 people, we really need to make sure that these people are both committed and also prepared to
Yeah.
be at the conference, because it's the biggest Model United Nations conference in the world.
Okay.
What are the other alternatives for transportation to and from?
So, Dr. Daly could probably speak right after me, but
He's not
we were,
driving.
we were
Yeah, don't let him
going
drive.
to do carpooling with parent volunteers, because that's what we have been doing, just because the cost is so high. But obviously, if we're not allowed to do that, which I wasn't aware of, we can try to figure out something with busing. It will increase the cost a little bit, but we also have some club funds we can maybe spend. See where that takes us. So we'll figure something out. We'll get
I'm
there.
sure.
Are the vans an option or not?
So what's that?
Are the vans an option?
Not for overnight.
Okay.
So it's just something that kind of, as this came through, and it may have slipped through in the past, but, the school committee policy is personal drivers, and, they should be using a bus or something,
Right.
on these type of trips. Parents, in some cases, can drive their own children, but not necessarily other children, just for liability reasons. So, it's the school committee policy, and so going to work, I've talked to Mr. Reddington and Dr. Meyer. I just dropped it on them right before they came up, just so they knew this wasn't something out of the blue, that we've been working on it today and talking about. So we will have a solution. We want to keep costs down, and we want to make it safe and reliable, and also be conscious of the school committee policy.
Understood. All right, well, any other?
Is the 475 roughly, is that club funds? Are you guys fundraising? How is that? Is that self-funded? How does that work?
A lot of it is self-funded. That's with the cost kind of cut down, because the hotel fee is almost $300 total, and also attending Harvard is $200 per delegate. And so we have a couple bake sales, but I mean, it's limited because.
It's a lot of cookies you'd have to sell to,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we don't really have any other ways of fundraising, so we just, yeah.
Fair enough.
A motion?
Yeah, can we get a motion?
I move to approve the Model UN annual trip.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0. Congratulations, enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Nice presentation.
And there goes your
I won't come
transportation.
back to it. There are 2 other trips.
Yep.
No one is here to present. I was gonna present them. We can come back to those later. Does that make sense?
Why don't we just do it?
Whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, let's just get it.
Okay. Next trip is the,
Boys hockey.
we'll do, sure, whichever one you like to do. Is it boys hockey? Annual trip to, this is from Mr. Campobasso. This
Falmouth.
is the trip to Falmouth, Massachusetts for the Jeff Hayes Memorial Tournament. 4 o'clock on Monday, February 16th, and then playing on Tuesday, February 17th at 4. So,
Move to approve the boys ice hockey trip to Falmouth, Massachusetts.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0. The rink at Bourne's nice, actually. In there.
and I'm sorry, DECA, you may not have seen this. This was just a little more information I got today. Thursday, March 12th through Saturday, March 14th at the Westin. There's just some more information about here. They are doing 2 fundraisers. There's a cookie dough fundraiser going on now. They're also going to do a Chick-fil-A Spirit Night with a percentage of sales going back to the chapter. They're utilizing school vans. And they're going to have the school committee ratios. All students have to be in good academic standing.
Awesome.
Looks good.
Move to approve the DECA Massachusetts State Career Development Conference in March.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
My only question is, if they're using school van,
Mhm.
when I asked before, I thought you said they can't use it for overnight.
They're not supposed to, so all of these, I'm working with Dr. Meyer on this, with just the process for the, how we do this. It could be different too if they're going and coming back versus staying over, or if they're just being used to be brought there, so we're gonna figure that out with all these trips.
That's what I think, I mean, like, I don't think you want the van to stay in a parking lot garage overnight, but if there was a drop-off.
Right, so similar with Model UN, we'll figure something out that works for everybody.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing no more, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0. Awesome. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. New business, the,
I need to go,
You guys go.
thank you guys, great job.
don't drop that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. The research study proposal.
So, unfortunately, Ms. Marcus is not well, but I am going to present on her behalf. If you recall last year,
This was interesting.
Ms. Marcus presented her study at the Hood School. She's just expanding this a little bit more to, as she's in the last phase now of her dissertation. So she's going to expand upon the pilot to expand to multiple third-grade classrooms at the Hood School using the same structure from before. So parents would be notified. There's a formal consent letter that explains the purpose of the study. It's going to be sent with a month in advance. There's 2 ways for parents to opt out. And then it says even with parental consent, students may choose not to participate in activities or surveys at any time. This involves 10-minute movement breaks, which are embedded into the normal school day. There's no additional work, testing, or after-school time. The activities are very brief, flexible, and teacher-led, and they're conducted after every 45 minutes of teaching. It can be built into lessons. And there are short pre and post surveys administered once at the beginning and once at the end of the study. The surveys take only about 5 to 10 minutes. So fairly quick and easy. I believe this went off without any concerns last year. And I think overall, these are things that we're doing often anyway. This is obviously more structured, but we do try to work these movement breaks into our day anyway. It's sort of a, an additional goal of one of our K-12 action teams as well, so.
Bless you. My only question was like, how it went this year, but, I mean, I don't know if there's like any preliminary findings or anything, or at least attendance. Did anybody really opt out, or was it pretty much?
I don't believe so, no. She did well, and it got approved to move on to the next phase, so I think this is great research that will help the field, so.
Good.
Do you know like what they were doing in the 10 minutes? So that's like probably about 50 minutes, so about an hour of more structured movement a day. Like what were they?
Yeah, I believe it's like movement breaks. So they're trying to just like get exercise and
Okay.
energy and in just measuring how they're doing from that, so. She is able to come next month. She was ill at the last minute today. But we have a much larger agenda too, so I figured the more we could present tonight, the better.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's similar. I'm curious as to how it went.
Yeah, when does this study wrap up? Like, when will she have, when will she be like presenting her dissertation?
Yeah, I think this summer, I
Okay.
believe, or into the fall.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
when she draws her conclusions.
Near the end, yeah.
Yeah, we can ask her to come back for sure. She's more than
I'd
happy
love
to
it.
do that.
All right.
Motion?
Yes, so we need a motion. We need to vote to approve, so we need a motion.
Move to approve Ms. Marcus's research study proposal and survey.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0. The school calendar, which I have to say, I've gotten a lot of questions from last week on.
That's like the most
Always.
popular
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
really.
They always happen like 2 weeks before we actually come in.
I know.
What it is.
Because everyone's on winter
think it's-
break and
yeah.
they're looking at the next
I
year.
know. It wasn't just
And I
people
couldn't
here.
think, I'm like, what did we do? Did we already do this one?
No, no.
I literally had the same question.
Seriously, I've got at least a half dozen.
Yeah.
Just give it a little time, we'll get there.
Okay.
So we've got the 2026-27 calendar.
Okay.
Okay.
And yes,
Um,
you're starting after Labor Day.
So,
Well, we are, students are.
Yeah.
Parents or teachers are not. That's my only question for you, Dr. Daly, while you go into it, is, are the teachers in agreement with starting before Labor Day?
correct. This is, the teacher's contract prohibits starting before September 1st, not before Labor Day.
Oh, okay.
And
Mhm.
so we historically have not started the students back before Labor Day. And so what we've done this year is we are front-loading our professional development days as well as the welcome back day on those 3 days. Not bringing anyone back on the 4th, and then bringing students back on the, it's a very late start. It's funny, I typically go back and try to figure out, when was the last time September was this date? And when I looked at that schedule, we had 2 weeks of professional development to start the year, and I said, why are we, and then I remembered, it
COVID.
started to come back. So then, I had to throw out the playbook there. So this was, I went back another, 8 or so years to find this. So we moved some of the dates around, we bumped the back-to-school nights, we bumped a few things around. There's a few other dates that are a little different. Principals have tried a few things. We're gonna have our elementary conferences earlier than typical. It's a philosophical shift that we're trying to have the purpose of those meetings being much more early warning indicators than I'll say the postmortem on here's the grade you earned at the end of the trimester, as opposed to here's where you are at this point and what can we do to improve. So there's a shift there in thinking. We're also moving the welcome back, sort of the step up, the high school back to school night. The open house for middle school students going to November. So that's something that's been later in the year. We're moving that earlier. Students are really looking at private schools, vocational schools much earlier. So having that really as a showcase is the way Dr. Meyer sees it. I'm excited about that. You know, even with the things we've officially adopted now with the vocational schools, having to get the tours and everything in October, you know, having all this earlier. And they had a revamped night just recently, and it was really Mr. Campobasso and the high school administration put together a student showcase, and, you know, parents that came, there was some great buzz and feedback about that, because it's really about trying to make sure that middle schoolers understand how many great opportunities are at North Reading High School. So you get to see the clubs and activities and sports, and they had sort of a showcase in the halls, and so we're excited about that moving up a little bit. And then if all of this plays out, we would have our last day of school on the 17th without snow days, and on the 25th with 5 snow days. Very similar sort of end to this year, with Juneteenth falling on a Saturday. The laws would be that we would celebrate that and observe that on the Friday prior.
18th, okay.
So that's why that is in the calendar as written. It
Mhm.
would be advantageous to us for that to be on the Monday, but that's how that falls.
No snow days, Dr. Daly.
So, yeah. So this is the proposed calendar. We think we've looked at all the holidays and Jewish holidays and other items to come up to make sure that we're not scheduling major events on those dates. But are there any questions?
Oh, looks good.
So just the day after Labor Day, okay, it's the first day back.
Yeah, which is pretty typical for students.
I think we've done like the Thursday the
We've done
past
like a
couple years.
Wednesday or.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, typically, they have like the
The
professional development days
right
first.
after Labor Day.
Last time I remember that it came up where, I think it was Mr. Bernard had proposed starting before Labor Day, and somebody on the committee, possibly me, made a big stick of that, and said no, but
It did not go well.
it did not go well. And then, but the reason I asked about the teachers, though, is at that point in time, we had said, the committee had said if the teachers wanted to do it beforehand, we're fine with that, but the teachers did not want to at that time, so I just wanted to make sure that they were in agreement on it, starting that week, so.
I'm biased. I'd like it to start a week earlier, but I don't think
Yeah.
it matters.
Well, I do, I mean, I think it's irrelevant for this calendar, especially given the PD, but certainly feedback from the community that I hear is, you know, there really are in North Reading 2 full weeks of dedicated childcare where there literally none exists from the town, from anywhere, right? All the college kids are back on campus. So there really is a hardship for a lot of parents. So that might be something that over the next year, we might want to talk more about is, are there opportunities? I know you might not want to talk about it, but there, certainly that's, I think one of the most consistent feedback I get from parents is,
For what? I'm not sure what.
so summer camps, everything really end like that 3rd week of August, right, when college kids effectively go back to school. So because we start so late in comparison to other districts, that first week's a challenge, the second week is a real challenge, because there's really not a lot of options of what you can do, especially with our youngest students.
I mean, the only pushback I would say on that would be, well, 2 things. Number one, as Dr. Daly said, the contract doesn't allow before September 1st anyways, so we're doing a couple days right after that
Yeah.
anyways, but just remember when your kids get to high school, a lot of things start earlier anyways. So sports and, you know, maskers and everything else is back earlier. So already when you get into high school, so it's the balance where like, okay, maybe childcare ends, but sports are back earlier, and so if you started earlier, they'd basically be back in the first week of August.
I think they all are anyways, so.
But
it-
like,
it's just
well, I
something-
think everything would just push up another
Yeah.
week, you know, and so like.
I think it's just
yeah.
something to be mindful of, especially as these costs continue to go up, right? And, or working with Parks and Rec on, can we extend, you know, can we work with them to extend a program?
Right.
Because I think those are the students that kind of need it the most, and there really are no alternatives in the community for them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I know the last time that we had the same discussion, like, there were a lot of parents that reached out about not wanting to start before Labor Day either, so.
It was a non-starter with the school committee, so if that's
Well,
changing.
the school
we
committee,
can
but it was
keep that
also
in mind.
a lot of parents too.
Like
so.
I said, I'm biased. I would definitely like it to go earlier because it
Yeah.
matches the rest of my family's calendar. But to me, I would go back to what do the teachers really want, because we'd have to change their contract anyway. And so it's
Several-
a
it would
hard no
impact
if they don't
several
want it.
bargaining units.
Yeah.
I think this is a good solution, honestly, because normally it's like it's a day or two, but like.
I think this
because it's
year is a
later.
little extreme, right?
Because it's later, but that's why like
Yeah.
getting 2 professional development days in early, because June 17th is a good ending date still,
Yeah.
you know, comparatively, and.
Yes.
and starting after Labor Day, other than the professional development. I think it's a great compromise.
The weather is better in September. I'd rather have kids have a little break in September than
So,
June was
Me
so
too.
unpredictable, but that's just my hill that I will die on.
No, that's
I
fair.
think it's good.
Agreed.
I just from the older kid standpoint, like, I just think like already it's like summer ends earlier because kids have to get back for tryouts and, you know, boot camps and all the other stuff that starts earlier, so.
And I remember, was it, was it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that, I think it was in June, that we had to have some elementary schools closed because it was too hot? We didn't have,
Yeah.
I thought it was the smoke, was it?
The smoke?
No, it was before. It was
I
I think we've
it
had
was-
both. I think we've had
The
both.
smoke was one, but the heat was, maybe I'm dating things here, maybe it was even like 5 years ago or something, but,
So during COVID, we did call a heat day,
yeah.
where we actually canceled school due to heat. The last few years, there's just been air conditioning issues in
Yeah.
the buildings where we haven't called school.
Yeah.
But it gets very hot in June, it gets very hot in September,
Yeah,
often hotter than even in August.
yeah,
The last few years, it's hard to predict.
okay, just curious. That's just a factor, weather.
Hit us.
Yeah, I was just wondering why we don't start earlier, because I know we're one of like the latest schools in Massachusetts, let alone like the rest of the U.S. to start school.
Well, what you'll find is, for the US, the southern US
Yeah.
starts way earlier for obvious reasons for weather. Massachusetts, it's kind of split, actually. You'd be surprised. But for us, the teacher's contract actually specifically states that we can't start before September 1st. So if we were to go earlier, let's assume we went a week earlier, we'd be sort of hitting that because professional development, I mean, unless we started like Thursday or something, if we did it on a regular basis, we'd have to alter the teacher's contract, which can be done, but we'd have to have agreement with the teachers in order to do that. And that's why I was coming back to, if we really want to do it, it sort of has to be done in conjunction with the teachers agreeing to that change, which, you know, even we're split on it.
It's a
Personally, fine, but we'd have to get agreement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I could,
Yeah.
Mr. Friedman, through you. Traditionally, school starts after Labor Day. It's a more recent trend to have school starting
Yeah.
earlier. My personal take is you don't really gain very much by starting earlier,
Yeah.
and you lose everything. You wake up August 1st, you gotta go back to school later that month. You're now on the calendar of all the stores that say school starting. You get out like a day or two earlier. And our calendar, we don't celebrate as many religious holidays as other districts, and a lot of districts take a lot more days off throughout the year. We don't need to do that, so we get out at just about the same time.
No, they gave up on a lot of that.
Okay. Yeah. And I also think just with Labor Day fluctuating every year, it's like, you know, like, again, like, that's why I think this is a good compromise where 2 professional development days are still happening early. And so like, you know, if Labor Day was earlier, maybe you don't have professional development days first, you start the first day, but then you get out about the same time, so.
I would suggest if we really want to take it up seriously, next year is when the teacher contract comes up, that's where we start approaching it and seeing if there's a groundswell there as well as with us, but I unless there's a
We're gonna
real
have
desire to
just as many
change this
parents
year.
upset about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
based on history,
we're doing
a lot of
I think we're
parents
going
like to
with
go
this.
away Labor Day, and they do not want
Right.
to be back in school.
Right.
So, but you guys have your ear to the crowd more, but that's what we certainly have heard in the past, so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the other thing, when we talked about before, that it was like, how valuable are those days where like, you know you're gonna be off on Monday and Friday, you're coming back for a day or two, like, again, I heard a lot of like the one day before
Yeah.
Christmas, it's like.
Yeah, that felt a little rough.
Everybody was like, all we did was watch movies all day. And so it was just like, was that really the best day to have? And as opposed to just, you know, calling a vacation day.
Yeah, where
so,
some districts got the full 2 weeks.
Right, so.
Talk to me in June on the.
Oh,
on the Mon- when you- when
I
you're
was
coming back
glad
the
for
Monday-
it.
When you're coming back the Monday in June.
I pointed out to my.
We're doing
my-
it right.
I pointed out to my students, would you rather have an extra day in June? Nope. I'm like, okay.
I remember the school year of '78, and we missed.
When I have to bring you back that Monday in June, because
Right.
yeah, it's not worth it.
You called one snow day.
All right, I think we're good here.
Motion
Um,
to approve the school calendar for
exactly.
2026, 2027?
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any additional discussion? Anyone online?
Aye.
No? Okay, hearing no additional discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0. Brings us to the NRPS 2030 updates. Dr. Daly.
All right. So I'm gonna share this still at like a 30,000 foot level, because we are, still working on this with our team. Our plan is this week and then in the next few weeks to go through at each level. But this is the overall vision. So we've gone from 3 areas down to 2. And the 2 areas are community, culture, and connection, and student success and growth.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay. Under those subheadings, we have student, family, community voice, safety, health, climate, and culture, respecting and reflecting diverse cultures, social emotional learning, family engagement, fiscal responsibility, and equitable access. And under student success and growth, curriculum instruction and assessment practices, MTSS and co-teaching, data analysis, course offerings and curriculum alignment, digital learning and AI, and professional development. And so it's just a little bit slightly different approach. A lot of the things that we were doing across our 3 big rocks have been consolidated. You may remember that in the past, we had a structure of sort of doing it across all 3, so we had student community voice in all 3 areas. A lot of the recommendations from our administrative team and from the community was to consolidate a little bit and to not lose anything, not de-emphasize anything, but just to restructure it to make it a little bit, in some ways, just to make it a little different and also to make it a little bit more coherent. So what you'll see, this is not finalized, but just to focus on, similar to the other one, this will be fully interactive. And so you'll be able to, when this goes live, folks will be able to click on things. So this is just fiscal responsibility as an example. And what it will look like is similar to this, where it will have the vision for where we want to be in 2030. These are some of the pieces that we're going to build upon in 25, 26. And then you'll see sort of the goals for 26, 27. I didn't update that one. So we're still updating the framework. But the idea is you'll be able to see each year with its goals, and then at the bottom, just that vision again, because when you scroll down, you don't see the whole thing. So this is just a quick, simple overview of what it will look like, but very similar to what we had in the past. It'll be fully interactive like that. So it'll be a 1-pager for that simple statement, just for people to be able to align their goals with. And then from there, they'll be able to go in and go down to the granular level. So we've been able to do some alignment with goals for administrators and school goals this year through conversation, but we're still, we're building it as we're flying it a little bit here too. And it's fully, Michael's leading us through, as we look at the budget process, we're fully aligning our vision and our goals with this and adding things as we go. But the goal will be to have this, we're meeting with the full leadership team on Thursday, and we're going to be getting some more input on the specifics of what needs to happen. The central office team has done sort of an overview, but this is where we really want Mr. Sergoy to really weigh in on the digital learning and AI, and Ms. Conan to weigh in on MTSS and co-teaching, and to hear from our principals and our assistants and our directors. So I just wanted to provide an update at this point. This is one of my goals as well, so just figured this was sort of an update there. But any questions that anyone has about it?
Jeff, I have one, and then the audience have one too.
Yeah, I've got some too.
My only thought, and it's not really a question, is I wonder if AI could almost be the 3rd big rock. I feel like AI infiltrates everything else on here.
Could be.
And I wonder if it's going to overtake it, if it almost should be its own rock, just because so many parts of it, I just think when you get into it, it's going to be duplicative of a lot of the other areas. And so I don't know if any thought had gone into making that almost its own
Go further with that.
section. Yeah.
Go further with that. What do you mean? What do you mean by as
Well-
in? Yeah, just explain a little further if you could.
Well, again, how to teach, what, should we be teaching students more about AI? Should teachers, how should it be incorporated into the teaching,
So
data.
holistically, both in terms of how to use it as
Right.
well as what is it? Okay.
Yeah, overall, I think AI is just such a huge topic right now that it's infiltrating everything, and so it's just like being a sub-point underneath curriculum, instruction, and assessment, I think almost overwhelms that, and I could almost see that as like a third focus overall to try to, in the next 4 years, like where do we want to be in 4 years with the use of AI, like in terms of teaching, in terms of teaching students, in terms of teachers using it in the classroom, in terms of like what we're doing with it, like, I don't know.
It's a good point. We had, in 2016 and 2021, technology was a big rock.
Right.
And then we said, it's so important, we redistribute it everywhere.
Right.
So I think we're still holding that same feeling. It's there just because it's so talked about. People would just say if it's not, so it's going to be embedded throughout.
Correct.
This is what's going to be in the digital learning area is going to be the specific plan for where we are right now, not necessarily how AI impacts all these things, but what we're specifically doing with AI, professional development, and curriculum work. But I agree with you that it'll be embedded throughout. And I think if it's just not there at all, it would be,
Right.
people would say, where is it?
Right.
But I'll bring that back, though. That's good.
It's
Yeah.
just a flash in the pan like the internet.
Yeah.
I have 3 questions, but my second and third kind of go together. I was just wondering, because I don't think you specified, when do you think this will be like open to the public?
As far as a finished product,
Yeah.
that's the goal is for next month or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my other question was about like course offerings.
Mhm.
What do you think will be like, I don't need specifics, but like what do you think will be added, and like what's the goal with that? And just because we just started talking about AI, I was thinking, depending on how the school wants to use AI,
Mhm.
you could have like a AI specific course in freshman seminar to teach them how to use it properly and like what in a good academic, honestly way.
Absolutely. That's great. Mr. Freeman, through you.
I, AI is such a hot topic in my world. I'm sure yours too. It will be.
It's interesting, my freshman daughter talked about AI today in seminar, that was their topic of the day.
Yeah.
So even if it's, not addressed all as a independent course offering, I'm happy to hear, and she was like, I don't know why we're talking about that, but I was like, trust me, you need to be.
It's an amazing tool, and good and bad, amazing.
Yeah.
But aside from that, what are the things that you think are going to be the hurdles or roadblocks to preventing you to get to where you need to be? And you can't say budget.
Before I answer, do you mind if I respond to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Braden, thank you for the question. So, part of what's in there is all of the course offerings. So, for example, at the high school, moving to semester courses and those offerings. We do talk about some of the AI integration. So we have to update our entire digital literacy K-12, starting with elementary schools and building. There's also going to be suggestions. We've been talking a lot about some of the shifts that are happening potentially at the state as a requirement, but we're going to try to get out ahead of that with where we're fitting in financial literacy, civics, MyCap, all those pieces in there as well. And then the curriculum alignment, just talking about what this looks like, what direction we're trying to go to bring back world languages, which we had to cut a couple of years ago. So all of those pieces are fitting in there. But absolutely, those ideas with freshman seminar. And there's a piece of this design. So when you say when it goes public, the draft will go out to get more feedback from people on the draft, including students. So we did that last year. I sent it out to everyone to get initial feedback. What should go in? Where do we want to be in 5 years? And so we'll do that again with here's what we've come up with and where do people want to go. So this technically won't, it's always a work in progress. But when we start a brand new cycle, it takes a little bit longer. And then every year we go in and say, what should we add? What should we change for last year? So for example, we added VR, AR, and then we added AI when it came on. But now it's becoming its own standalone thing.
You mentioned bringing back world languages. I've only been here long enough to know that there was French and Spanish, so I was just wondering if there are any other offerings before last year.
Mr. Freeman, through you. So
Yeah.
the French and Spanish, longstanding history. Our question now is really, what do we want it to look like in the future, right? So is it French coming back? Is it French plus other languages? And we have to build that infrastructure. We have to talk about, does it start in middle school? Does it start earlier? all the different ways that we can approach that. It's not as simple as just reverting immediately back to what we had. Because not only did we have to make cuts last year, we had to drastically change the whole infrastructure and change our middle school schedule, and we changed a lot of things. So it's not something you can reverse course in 1 year.
Yeah.
As we talked about last year. So part of what we're gonna learn from people is what classes and what languages do they want? Is it, Mandarin, Latin, French, Spanish? What do people want?
Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
And just to follow up on that, I mean, just to understand how, as much as we hate to say it, like, budget and the goals, like, educational goals are intertwined. Like, nobody wanted to not, I mean, we still have French kind of phasing out, but nobody wanted to not have somebody starting French this year. Nobody wanted to not have middle school classes, but a lot of what we have to do is look at class sizes, and if classes aren't being, attended, if there's not many students in them, are they places that we should cut? And so, like, there's always, like, hopefully budget and educational needs, work together, but sometimes they don't, and sometimes these are the challenges that we end up having, where it's like the district, Dr. Daly's trying to lay out a vision of what we want to see happen, but unfortunately, some of these are gonna hit the cutting board when we get to budget season, and I think that's the biggest challenge, and I think the school committee, at least I hope that Dr. Daly continues to push it forward, to say what we should be doing and where we should be going, not just what we can afford to do. And then it's our job really to fight to say, this is where we should be going, this is what we can afford to, and, does the town agree with where we should be going, and we should, like, that's our job, like, that's the interaction between the school committee and, the district is really for advocating for, this is what the leader of our district is saying we should be doing, and where we're at, and where we're falling behind, and so we need to be advocating for the budget to allow that to happen, so.
When does budget season start?
I mean, it's already started.
Never
We're all
ends.
having meetings, but.
Yeah, it's, so the budget is approved at the town meeting in June. But budgets are going all throughout. So municipal budgets don't work like, sort of like a household budget. They're continually evolving. You get clarity, more and more clarity as you go along, sometimes right up until town meeting. Cost of everything from healthcare to the teacher's contract, to the para contract that we're working on right now. All of those things play into it, and they're always in motion. So it's not like you have just like a fixed amount of income that you're dealing with and say, okay, well, I've got my house, I've got my cars, I've got a sort of fixed costs or relatively fixed costs that I understand, and it's sort of predictable. This is much more variable. So we get a sense of it just as we have all along, and then we start making assumptions about what we need to do as we're moving along. And Mr. Connolly here is being literally one of the best at finances in the state for a school system. We can predict year to year for the school, and we can sort of say, okay, there are bigger projects like windows at a school or a roof or whatever, and we can sort of meld that together, say, here's what we need, and roughly start pinning it together with the rest of the town budget. That's a really long answer to say it's always going along.
Yeah.
And you do the best you can with the assumptions you make.
Can I just add a couple quick things? So, the beginning of probably the first half of the year, the school year, a lot of what's happening is just looking at the current budget we're in to see if we're going over or not. Like, some towns ran into really bad trouble last year where the expenses outpaced what they had budgeted. So Mr. Connolly's, really responsible for keeping us on track. Every meeting we have a budget update to see, are we on track with the budget? A lot of it's looking at how we're doing for this year and starting to project the revenue for next year. But at the same time, we're starting to work on the next bus contract. You need a bus contract for next year. I'm working on capital projects. We have different subcommittee assignments where we're trying to look at that to really figure out what the big expenses are gonna be. We have to figure out what healthcare is gonna be. Like, these are some of the biggest budget drivers, special education needs, things like that. So you figure that out, and then when everybody starts thinking about the budget, it's like, okay, you kind of have an idea of how much money you have. You have an idea of what the fixed costs are. Now we have to start looking at what's discretionary in terms of what can we afford to do. And that's where everybody starts getting involved at that point in time. But everybody up here is looking at it well before that on what our revenues are, our revenues still coming in the way we were anticipating them, and what are the big fixed costs?
And the schools represent by far the largest budget center for the entire town. And that's common throughout all towns. So, and, you know, without getting too much into detail, we're happy to show you a copy of the budget.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
There are deliverables along the way.
There you go.
We would present a preliminary budget, the school budget, at the beginning of March.
Yeah.
And then it does, as we've said, it's a fluid process. There's some changes. We update it. We see where the revenues are in the town. So along that month, we're updating it. We have a public hearing where we get input in the beginning of April. And then generally, this school committee votes a budget at the end of April, beginning of May. And then there are years where it is being tweaked right up to town meeting, but that's generally what some of the key deliverables and dates for the school budget.
And our town meeting's very late. It's in June.
Yeah.
So it's different than it is in a lot of other communities. So,
By the way, great questions.
yeah.
Awesome. Bring your friends.
I wish they
And
would
again,
come.
just to zoom out, like, I think what we're trying to do here is just hear Dr. Daly's goals for where, you know, where we think we need to be going. And so, you know, it's always hard because me in particular, but all of us sort of like we don't want to limit that, but like point out that these are the challenges that we're having. Like, we're making cuts each year, but yeah, we're trying to figure out what we need to be doing. But this is a really important part of, you know, advancing the district, is having the vision of saying, this is where we want to go, this is where we need to go, and this helps us then to advocate for it.
Well, and to your point, Scott, like, one of the school committee goals that we have is, as this is finalized, we actually have a goal to map out the projected budget we think we need to accomplish these goals. And that's one of our goals, to work with Dr. Daly and Mr. Connolly on getting that budget and understanding what that looks like over these 5 years.
So in answer to your question, Mr. Freeman,
And by the way,
budget is a big piece of it.
yeah, no. The reason why I asked that is because I assume budget is the
Yeah.
single biggest thing. And I didn't mean to make it sound like it was a joke. It was more
Yeah.
like, let's assume that. What else
Sure.
do you see as being a roadblock?
Yeah, so there's certainly positions that are working into this, which would include a big piece of the budget. I think time, obviously, those typical things that interfere. What's really not a problem is the commitment of the people. I appreciate that this is my strategy that I'm presenting tonight, but it's really coming from all stakeholders who've given feedback, and our leadership team and our extended leadership team, including teachers. We worked on this over the summer. We got it to this point. We've now been adding throughout the fall these details to fill in, and we're going to continue to work on that. And we really have, over the last 15 years or so, made this a part of that through line to our school goals and our individual goals. It's amazing when you looked at 2025, how many things we were accomplishing every year, even in tough times. And what it's really done for us, I think, is when things get cut, we're able to say, well, what are those core things that still help us to move forward that we're not going to allow to be cut? And what are those things that when we build back, we want to make sure that we're getting back on course? And so that's really the conversations we have. So even in tough times, we're committed to a real vision for moving forward. And that's what the strategy's helped us to do.
Awesome.
I guess my only other comment is I'm interested to see, because since I've been here, this is the first time we have new principals.
Yeah.
And to see, like, you know, the last few of these have all been kind of the same people going into it.
Yep.
So I think it's interesting to have some new voices in there as well.
It is. I would say family engagement being its own bullet was something that came from one of our new leaders, and just differentiating that from family community voice, from actually having goals around engagement, which I think was great, and we wanted to recognize. I'd say, you know, we have equal voice, but I maybe put a little more weight, because I'm like, this is coming from somebody new. I want to make sure it makes it in there, so I thought that was great, so.
Awesome. Any other comments? Thoughts?
So I'll provide more when we circle back through the goals. I'll give you an update on where we are, but I just wanted to take a moment tonight to bring you up to speed.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And thanks for the engagement.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
I have one small question.
You're allowed.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
You mentioned Dr. Meyer and new leaders, and I was just wondering how you think the year so far is going with the new administration compared to like previous years.
Are you asking us, him, or both?
Let's say both.
I'll speak for myself, and I'd say I don't like to compare, because I think I think there are many differences between them.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not a student, believe it or not. I think she's doing a fantastic job. Talk about hitting the ground running. She, the work she had to do at the beginning of the year, and we brought this up during the initial presentations, she hit the ground sprinting. So I think the work that's been done has been fantastic. Sample size is small, but so far, so good. I don't have anything negative. Again, my daughter's in middle school, and so my interaction, albeit limited, is so far positive.
I mean, I'm the only one who has 2 high schoolers probably, but I'll just say, I think the key thing is when anybody new comes in, you don't want to just try to do the same thing the person before did.
Right.
You know, and that's, I think, what I see up here is that, like, you want to bring your own flavor to it, you want to bring your own thoughts to it, and so you don't want to change traditions, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're, putting a little bit of yourself into it. And so that's what I see from both new leaders here, is that, like, I think they're trying to very much to respect what has been done before, but at the same time, maybe rethink things here and there and just kind of put their own thoughts and heart into it, so, which is a good thing.
I would echo that. I'm sorry, I'm just sitting.
Yeah.
No,
The,
you're loud.
both new principals, we have one at the little school, one at the high school, are both doing a great job. Big shoes to fill, a lot of tradition, a lot of years of experience with Mr. LaPret and Miss Molly, and I think they've both brought a lot of good ideas to the table. I've received a lot of positive feedback from students and from parents about those pieces too. But that's, everyone has challenges and growing pains too, and that's part of it. And we work together as a team to work through that.
Thank you so much.
Anything else? I think we're good. Again, thank you. The SEAM annual report.
Thank you, sir. Very much similar to what we talked about last week with the last meeting, with the NEC report. This is the annual report from SEAM Collaborative. They're doing a wonderful job, as always, to offer alternatives for our students with many different programs that are very impactful, both for individual students and also for our administrators, leaders, and teachers. They offer professional development. We have multi-district coordinator. We have many different job alikes that meet that's coordinated through SEAM. The substantial savings that we see through these collaboratives is incredible, and it seems like everything that's being looked at the state level financially, they're constantly saying, what about collaboratives? What could collaboratives do differently to help us? And they're really stepping up to the plate. Kathy Lawson is the executive director at SEAM, and she does a really great job thinking outside the box about ways to cost share, like our multi-district positions, for example, that we've presented on a lot. It's a really, really great resource for public education, and this is just a chance to see how they're doing in their year. Any questions?
No. All right, why don't we move to routine matters? We've got minutes for the December 8th open session and executive session.
I can do that.
Sure.
I move to approve the minutes from the December 8th, 2025 open session meeting as written.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain.
Right. So we have four yays and one abstention.
I know.
And then I will also move to approve not the mittens. I need mittens, I'm cold, but the minutes from the December 8th, 2025 executive session as
Bless you.
written.
And you were here for that,
I
right?
was, yep.
Right, so, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0. Budget update.
Great, thank you. So the December budget report is in your packet this evening. This summarizes financial activity just before the holidays, so almost through Q2 of the fiscal year. And not a lot of new updates from the November report, where we're seeing a lot of the same trends. We've had some unanticipated costs, particularly in the area of special education, with just rising costs in the area of some out-of-district tuitions and transportation. But as I've stated previously in the updates, the actions we take at the end of the fiscal year to prepay some of those tuitions to create some additional flexibility has allowed us to address and meet these unforeseen costs and student needs, which are, as we know, are difficult to predict during the budget process. So we have been able to kind of meet those needs within budget. We continue to see a need for some additional academic support and tutoring and some services for our high needs population, and we've been able to address those within budget, and those have all been kind of projected and encumbered on the report. In the area of maintenance, we've certainly, which is not unusual, have seen the need to address some areas, particularly in some plumbing, HVAC. Most recently, there's some roofing needs at the elementary schools that we're addressing. We've been able to do that all within budget at this point, through about the half of the fiscal year, but we'll continue to monitor those needs and those areas of maintenance issues that have arisen. On the payroll side, everything is sort of trending within budget. There's been some need to appoint some long-term substitutes in certain areas for some leave of absences, but nothing out of the ordinary of the trends that we've seen in previous years, and they're right now all within our substitute budget line item. The food service program is continuing to perform well with high participation in the school breakfast and lunch program. Over 70% of the students are participating, so we continue to see good revenue flowing in on a monthly basis in our food service program. So although, as what is typically the case through half of the fiscal year, we've seen some new costs, we have been able to address those over the first 5.5 months of our fiscal year, and we'll continue to monitor some of these areas and some of these trends as we move into the second half of the school year. That being said, I'll open it up to any questions.
Mr. Chairman?
No, I don't have any questions on this. I mean, the fact that we are able to take all these variables and say we're in budget is pretty remarkable.
I was saying I have a few questions.
No, I'm just commenting first, but yeah. Go.
No,
No, go.
oh yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I thought you said
Yeah.
I thought you thought I was prompting you.
No.
Mr. Cow, just a few quick questions. Number one, I know there's been a lot of illnesses. Do we have enough subs? Are all the sub positions filled, and have we been able to get subs?
We do have a solid pool of daily substitutes. We have, I believe every permanent substitute position is filled right now, which is good. We've had some challenges of that in the past. So there has been some illnesses, but there hasn't been, a major issue with our fill rates or at this point.
And what's breakfast look like year over year? Is it? I know you said at the beginning of the year it was up. Is it still up?
It's up. Everything is up right through the first half of the year, first four months. Getting to December, numbers are coming in this week. But I did some analysis of meals per day and meal per labor hour, and everything between breakfast and lunch is actually up at almost every location.
And then I know we had a surplus in the food service account at some point. Have we
Yes.
been able to use some of that this year?
So we have, Kate Filte, the new food service director, has done a good job looking at some of the equipment, and just over break, we met and are putting some upgrades into some of the equipment at all the schools, which has been good. Adding some equipment to make things easier and provide some ability to be a little bit more creative in some areas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All good. Any other questions, comments? Nope. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. as always. Staffing. Looks like a few staffing changes.
Right here. Where did it go? Just a couple of updates here. We have a long-term substitute paraprofessional at the Bachelor, Gina Carpalucci. Karen Rowe, building substitute at the middle school. And we've had some retirements, resignations, terminations. Keith Lum, who's actually moving over to the town side, I believe. Mr. Paul Polito, who is retiring from the high school. So two of our buildings and grounds workers put in many great years of service here. And Mr. Paul Dolan, who was a newer driver, and we've actually just replaced him as well. So
Fair enough.
just wanted to provide those updates.
Excellent. Bids and donations.
All right, we're back. All right, I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $1,200 from the North Reading Hornet Hall of Fame to support the fitness program at each elementary school and the NRMS at $300 each for participation in the turkey trot.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0.
I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $250 from private donors to support the Fun Run fundraiser at the Batchelder School.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0.
I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $250 from the North Reading High School's Parent Association to be used towards the teacher's breakfast.
That's awesome.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0.
I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $1,174 from the E. Ethel Little PTO to be used towards transportation and entrance for the third grade enrichment trip to the Lexington Symphony.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approved 5-0.
I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $500 from CJ and J Leasing Corp. to be used towards the girls' varsity basketball team at the high school.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0.
All right, now the big one. I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation of $40,540.88 from the Batchelder School Parent Organization to support the construction of a new playground at the Batchelder School.
Wow.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
I just have,
Yeah.
since I'm the only non-batch parent, what's the timeline of that? Do you know?
Spring.
Not sure. Yeah, the
This
first
spring,
phase
okay.
is just like the Gaga ball and like the spider thing, and then there's gonna be more after that.
And so in the packet, they've got the whole layout. So, yeah, I mean, I have a quick comment. I mean, I know that this was a culmination of, I know this fundraising has been going on since my daughter was in kindergarten, who is now in 5th grade, and may have even started before then. So, you know, thank you to all the PTO members who put this all together over multiple years, the parents that came out and supported it, but also the businesses in town that provided, you know, the things that could be raffled off and people could donate towards. So we couldn't have certainly done that, and the community couldn't have done that without everybody's participation across the entire community.
Awesome.
And playgrounds are not cheap.
No.
Clearly.
That Gaga ball thing
Done
is like my nightmare.
A couple years ago.
Oh my God. It's like everything I hated about
There's been
Your
some,
yours is an empire over there.
little
yeah, there's been some
And-
delays due to the
And
projects.
I think it is like a bed.
Right.
trapped.
But that is, I think that it is a
Ultimate
spring,
Fighting
Oh
Championship.
God.
spring start.
Like my blood
Yeah, I think
was
we're
rising,
making, with
but
this
it's great
donation,
for
we're make the
kids who
deposit,
are into
and
that.
lock in the price, the date,
Do we,
so.
Yeah. No one better be driving around a new Mercedes with us. All good.
Did we accept that one?
Not yet. So any other discussion?
Do we
All those
know,
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved 5-0.
Mr. Friedman, I believe Brandon has a question.
Yeah.
do we know like the layout of the playground yet, or?
I think
Of the
it's-
first phase.
It's, yeah, there's a drawing. Is it up there? Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna,
It's in the packet, yeah.
it'll extend the existing playground, and there'll be a gaga pit, and then a climbing apparatus. So the existing playground is going to remain.
Yeah.
It's extending off.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Sort of like a Thunderdome type of structure.
Hiring referees for the Gaga pit.
Awesome. Post-apocalyptic. Okay, we've approved, and I think that's the last one.
Sided gaga pit, that's gonna be chaos.
The school may have to check it out first.
I think we might have to, if that's in part of the winter games, I think we should,
Yeah.
Get the
Should we do a
committee out
school
there.
committee
I
one?
know. That should be the, before it can open, we have to make sure
I'll
it's
take
safe.
care of that.
I think we need to get another,
The school
like, medical professional in there first. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any grants, and we've handled the overnight trip requests, so social media.
No updates. I have updated in the last week to auto post our upcoming meetings, just as we enter in kind of the busier time of the season, so that you'll start seeing that more on social media. That's all I had for updates as far as that goes. So you'll start seeing those posted more. Our engagement usually hits around 8,000 people, which is really great within 2 or 3 days.
That's great.
Do you want to put the calendar out?
Yeah, the
We
calendar's
can,
a
we can
Yeah.
certainly do that.
blockbuster
That's about the main
item.
thing.
I think I've gotten 14 questions on the calendar since January
Yeah,
1st.
that's gonna
It's
be,
crazy.
that's gonna,
Yeah, I'll release that
interest.
and then, yeah, forward that out.
Perfect.
Great.
Awesome. Anything else on that? Subcommittee updates, Fine Arts Subcommittee. It's been a while, but
yeah, I can do that. That was like a month ago.
I know, right?
Let's see, they talked about, which I thought was really interesting, Miss O'Brien and Miss Stokes did, professional development, at something called Artistry Unleashed. And it was really impactful. They were really excited about it. Beyond that, I can't remember what they were really excited about because it was a month ago. And I didn't make notes beyond that. Let's see, talking about the idea of doing high school semester courses for the arts, because there's definitely, for those freshmen signing up for arts, there's definitely been a real interest in the business classes and not as much interest in the arts, and they were hoping perhaps if they opened it up to 2 semester classes, that would perhaps draw some more kids in or give a little bit more variety, and there was some discussion about what that would look like. Like if it would be like 2, like you have to sign up for 2 at the same time, like, you know, whether art and, you know, music theory, and that was it, or if you would be able to kind of have a menu choice for the first semester and the second semester. Anything else on that, Dr. Daly, you can let me know if I'm missing something.
I would just add that, I mean, so that's something that certainly through the principal interview process came out from a lot of stakeholders in the community. They wanted to see that. Teachers, parents, students. And so it's something Dr. Meyer's been working on. So I don't want to steal her thunder too much for their presentation, but they will have, no, that's great. But they will have those semester course offerings, which is great.
Okay, great. Yeah, I as a parent was interested in hearing about that.
Yeah.
And then there was, let's see, there's some policy discussion on how to post new positions, like if there's additional staff needed for a musical or something like that. Just reviewing that policy. Let's see, another thing that I thought was interesting was that, and again, fill in the blanks, anyone that was there that remembers more of this, but that if there's after-school activities where there are paras needed for the arts activities, whether it's theater or whatnot, that the idea of creating a para bank, like for, like in order to have enough staffing for after-school activities in case there are a lot of kids that need the use of a para and they still want to participate in after-school activities.
Yeah, but para is ill, and then what happens, right? So having like that floater kind of substitute. So since that meeting, we did post that, and I believe we filled that as well.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
great.
Awesome. And then, is there a storage container that's coming?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
coming.
Okay, wow, it's like
For
everything's,
Yeah.
everything has an update.
Yeah, they were just financial issues, like they needed new storage container, the kilns need to be replaced, which
Yep.
sounds like.
Sounds like that
been-
We
happened.
worked on those.
They were
All the
fixed.
things are getting done.
New piano.
Well done.
They need a new piano, so.
Wonderful, okay.
Awesome.
Great summary, Noel.
Very good.
Right?
Literally, like
I mean,
everything.
literally, it was a month
Yeah.
ago.
I just printed out the agenda and I was like, oh,
I
these
think
are
we
the
met the
things.
day after this meeting, right?
Yeah.
I think most importantly, get your Beetlejuice tickets, because they're about sold out.
They
So if you
are
haven't
actually.
gotten them, get them.
They are actually.
There are not many tickets left.
That's exciting.
Go take a look at the set on the way out. Unbelievable.
That build team's incredible.
Headshots. Here, the buildings right here, the headshots are amazing too, so.
Aw,
We'll see. First round was today.
good job.
Tomorrow I'll do the rest and then the editing. Okay, we got upcoming subcommittee schedule. So the athletic subcommittee is scheduled for January 13th at 12:30 PM. Finance planning is this Friday at 8 AM. And down to the administrative report, Dr. Daly.
Do you want any, real quick, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, just to update on other things, CIPC is starting to meet.
Right.
So we're just going through those
Yeah.
presentations right now, so exciting, and then I've been very involved in the fire station discussions as well, so at this point in time, we're like working with a place to trying to identify sites for a second fire station location, so. Spent far too much time this weekend ranking sites that I don't know anything about.
I won't carry that discussion further because it will lead us down a rabbit hole, so.
Yes,
Okay,
but
fair enough.
just to let you know what's going on, the other things
Fair enough,
that are going on, so.
fair enough. Any other comments? Dr. Daly?
So just wanted to share officially that we were invited into the MSBA Statement of Interest into its eligibility period. So again, that project is involving a potential full permanent structure building at the hood that would consolidate pre-K from the little school and the hood, and could possibly also impact some updates to the current hood building. So we are now on a cycle here of it's a 270-day phase, begins in June. There's a few things we can do earlier than that, and we're going to continue to work with the town to figure out what the best timeline is to get some approvals onto a warrant for a potential feasibility study. So that could happen in June, it could happen in October. We're trying to figure out those next steps.
Dr. Daly,
Yes.
does this mean for sure it's only the permanent solution going forward then?
No.
Okay, so could this still consider replacements?
This will not.
Okay,
So this would be so what would happen is we would get approval for a feasibility study for the permanent structure. They're not going to, the modulars are not a part of this.
okay. So the MSBA would be only for the permanent, but
Correct.
we could still talk about either
Absolutely.
permanent or,
So at any stage of the game, like if the feasibility study's not approved, then we could either reapply to do this again, or we could say, do we just want to do modulars?
okay,
If the feasibility is approved, then we could meet again, and we'd have to get approval then for the permanent structure. And at that phase, someone might say, we don't want to do permanent, we'd rather just do modulars. I assume we would get an updated modular quote at that point, obviously from, it would be 3 or 4 years old. But at any phase, we could do that. But the building authority only does permanent structures.
And,
So-
no, keep going, sorry.
Oh, the
I'm
last thing I
just
wanna
saying the same thing you
The
are.
purpose of that is to compare apples to apples. So when we did the original study, it was modulars versus a potential. We don't really have a firm number on what a permanent structure would be, and we have no idea what the reimbursement would be. That's why the charge was to see whether there was an interest. They see an interest, and then from there, it's even become more than just the wing, because what MSBA has said, this might give you a chance now to do something even bigger for less money, which is actually some preservation work of the hood school itself.
No, we have the option to say no at any phase, anytime. Now, it's not necessarily prudent for us to get in and instantly say no, That doesn't look great, but if the feasibility study comes back with some crazy number, we can obviously revisit that and say, is this really the path we want to take? We don't even have to take it to town meeting, depending on what that is, but now that we're in, it behooves us to push the ball forward.
You know, the only question that I think I have, and this would be more for like the select board, I guess, but, or for you guys on the finance planning team, is when it gets presented at town meeting, I just worry if there's two alternate paths, so there'll be a lot of discussion about the two, and if maybe it should be, let's prioritize the permanent structure right now, and then we could always go back if the feasibility study doesn't work, because I've seen times before where they try to put up like alternate options, and that ends up being the fight at town meeting about like,
Well-
which option is better, as opposed to this is what we should be going for right now,
Well, I think
so.
a lot of that gets driven off of what are we asking for this time around, and what do we think the reimbursement's gonna be?
Right. But I think just saying.
But
like,
you're
we're gonna
correct.
ride- We're gonna ride this horse first, rather than, oh, there might be two different options still, or whatever, because I think that could lead to more discussion and confusion, as opposed to, here's what the option is.
That's fair.
It just, yeah.
I think what's great about this process is I think we're gonna be able to eliminate a lot of the what-ifs and the hand-waving that would come along with a project of this size and scope, and allow us to get some very concrete answers. So I think at a minimum, we're gonna plan on updating the community in June. Maybe we're ready for a feasibility study, maybe not, but I think we're gonna learn a lot over these next 270 days.
Yeah, and technically, those days, the clock starts in June, which gives us sort of the maximum amount of time that we would need. We don't have to take that long.
Right.
But that's the way they knew that we might need to get some permissions in June, so starting the clock around then. But the one thing you can get a little bit early is some of that pre-approval work towards the feasibility study. So we will be talking about this a lot more. The other item is just school safety update. So I will be sending out information in the coming days, similar to what we've done in the past, on the 28th of January, which is a half-day. During that morning part of the day, we will do some developmentally appropriate scenarios. This is more related to a school intruder type of situation. We do not run full drills. We are very sensitive to trauma. We have conversations that are age appropriate. So obviously, high school students may be discussing things that they may have heard in the news and similar situations if they were to happen here. What we don't do, and then obviously middle school would be a little bit less, and elementary might be, if you see a stranger on the playground, what should you do? Who do you report it to? Those kind of developmentally appropriate. There's no simulations that we do at this time. And you hear arguments from time to time on both extremes, right? It causes too much trauma to even do a scenario, and other people saying you really need to do more. It is concerning, but this is what we've focused on. We do collect feedback from those in part of it, and we tailor this all the time. So this isn't the only time that we're asking staff to do this, but this is one that's coordinated and that we focus on across the district with these scenarios. We also put this out so that parents, if they have a question or if they want to preview with their students, we're not going to tell anyone the exact moment when this is going to happen, because the purpose of it is to be, where am I in this moment and what would we do in this situation? So it may be during a passing time, it may be during a lunch, it may be during a class. So we don't get the exact moment, but this does give a chance, and there are some resources we share if parents want to talk to students about it before or after.
Someone
needs to mute.
Is someone trying to participate or just coming off mute? All right, I take that as a mute issue. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Excellent, thank you, Dr. Daly. For future business, and we don't have any correspondence at this time. Future business, we've got a meeting on January 26th. That'll be here. We'll do the North Reading High School presentation, as well as North Reading High School Program of Studies. And then February 9th after that, superintendent goals update, school committee goals update. Exciting. And from here, we are going to close this session and then go to executive session. So can I get a motion to close this, and then we'll need,
I move to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining and or litigation, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and to not return to open session.
excellent.
Second.
Perfect. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
No?
No? Roll call. I'll never get it. Roll call vote. Mr. McCall.
Aye.
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 I'm an aye as well, 5-0. Great, approved.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks all.